Hey, welcome back, folks, to Wizards Outlook. We got Cardell Dudley Jr., I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr., and the Washington Wizards. Cardell, we talked to everyone a little bit earlier during pregame, but tale of two halves in this one. Legit tale of two halves. The Wizards gave up 38 points in that second quarter. I don't know if I was alone in thinking this. I was like, here we go again, because we've seen that at times this season. But credit to them. Hell of a response in that third quarter, scoring 42 points. Keyshawn George did a lot of his damage in that quarter as well. That erased a 20-point Memphis lead in the process. You mentioned offensive rebounding during pregame. You mentioned rebounding total, specifically offensive rebound, how important it would be against a team. I believe that you said Memphis came in ranked 10th in defensive rating. So the offensive rebound and getting numerous possessions would be huge, and it was. It played a large role in Washington getting back into this game. You also mentioned one Santi Aldama, and he had a hell of a night for the Grizzlies in this one. Off the bench, a 37-point, 10-rebound double-double. But that Wizards response, that third quarter, well, really the entire second half, as they successfully rallied from 20 down to beat the Grizzlies 130 to 122. Carter, I want to get your thoughts on what what you felt was the biggest difference between what we saw in that first half and a totally different second half from Washington.
The Wizards took control as far as controlling the game and the pace, and their defense turned up. It's been a constant theme all season. When the Wizards play defense, they usually are in a good position to win the game. And if they do just enough take care of the ball and execute on offense good enough, they usually pull it out. The problem is the season. They haven't done both enough throughout the season. And tonight they did, especially in the second half. Man, Keyshawn George, CJ McCollum controlled the game in the second half. They did. Keyshawn with 24 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds in the second half, on 8 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from deep. He did a little bit of everything. It was a plus 29, CJ 18, 3 assists. Alex Sarr with 12, you know what I'm saying? Not just 12, but 5 rebounds. And I'm emphasizing the rebounds because, like you said, I was like, this team hangs their hat on getting extra possessions by crashing the boards. So if you can't keep them off the boards, they're going to beat you. And the Wizards did a great job of making sure that didn't happen. All game winning the rebounding battle, but in the second half, when they made their run throughout the second half, they out rebounded them 28-22. But the defense in the second half, they held Memphis to 40% from the field, 40.8% from the field, and then 30% from deep. Whereas in the first half, they shot 49% from the field, 42% from deep. And then Memphis, they helped themselves get into the free throw line, and they were 7-12, 58%. But in the defense, they clamped down, and no bigger play than when Keyshawn George took the charge on Jaren Jackson that fouled him out. Took the offense, like that sacrificing your body. And listen, the way he was playing offensively, he might have got a pass if he ain't stepping there and take that, man. But he took it, and that shows winning effort, man. Like that kid, and he's been in a slump the last few games. I mean, he would say he averaged like 11 points since he came back from injury the last few games. He's been out of rhythm, man. But he found his shot in the second half, man, and it was getting into the mid range. And CJ the vet, it was I believe the Wizards up 4, and then Bub came down, took a wild mid-range shot, then fading sideways, and it hit the backboard, and then Memphis came down, and then they got to stop. CJ went right immediately and got the ball. Like, nah, let me get the ball. Just control the game, make sure we don't have no mishaps where they can get a second chance at this, because this is what costs you games, and that's just a veteran understanding. Second half, the entire second half, they had 6 turnovers, which is great, period, but really great for them. We done seen them have like 6 in the halfway through a quarter. So that just shows you the emphasis on them just taking care of the ball in the second half. Meanwhile, the second half, 52-50, 93 splits. 52, 50, 93. Missed one free throw, 14 and 15. They were deadly efficient. And I can't not say this. 17 assists in the second half on 26 field goals. They was moving the ball beautifully. One thing that would kill any defense, ball movement. Because you always rotating, and it's hard to just keep rotating and staying with your matchups. Like, just being on point, it's hard to do that when you constantly chasing the ball, man. And eventually, as you keep chasing the ball, somebody's gonna break down, then you're gonna get a good shot. And that's what they was getting down the stretch. Like the Alex Sarr three, the CJ when he came off that curl, hit the big three when they had to check to see if his foot was on the line. Keyshawn, hit a tough shot. Like those are momentum. Not just like if Memphis, it's not if Memphis had momentum, it's not momentum killers or momentum takers from now. Those are momentum just boosters for what the Wizards want, and then deflates the other team, man. You know what I mean? But we all said, like, at the beginning of the pregame, man, we was like, it's going to be a grind. You know what I mean? Because the Wizards are still trying to learn overall how to win games, especially on the road. And, Memphis won their job and them didn't play, but they still had guys capable of winning this game. Like, Aldama was unconscious all night. I mean, 37 off the bench is ridiculous, man. So that weathered the storm. So that efficient second half makes it even more impressive with the way Aldama had it going, that they clamped down on everybody and held them to such inefficient, scoring, because their bench largely in due to Aldama's 37 points was crazy. Like they scored 61, they outscored Wizards bench 61-36. And obviously Aldama had 37 of that. So man, you just gotta tip your hat to the Wizards. Good win, especially like I said, handle business tonight. And look, you can come back home on the back-to-back. The Spurs will be waiting for you. Try to get your get back.
Yeah, it was just a really good response, and I appreciated them in the second half. Not only mastered the physicality, but they sustained it. They stuck with it the entire second half. They didn't wilt after, we've seen them at times. They go down in a hole and make a run, and sometimes they don't have enough left in them for that finishing kick. And we saw them sustain. And this one obviously would have loved a better first half, but to all the points that you named, that was just a stellar half. I know last game you were talking about the importance of Marvin Bagley continuing his strong play with Alex coming back. And tonight we saw what the two of them did together. They, that was a hell of a performance. You take what they did together at that position for Washington tonight. That was huge.
Right.
Again, essentially from the five, they had Jaren Jackson over there on Memphis, but it was Jaren Jackson essentially against Sarr and Bagley. And
they should be able to get the job done to at least match production-wise what Jaren Jackson brings to the table. You know what I mean? So, yeah, big-time play.
And like you said, with Aldama having the out-of-body experience, like 37 on 15 to 23.
Off the bench.
I don't care. Off the bench. Like, that's in 37 points in 36 minutes. Bench. Like, that's crazy. And because of what you did in that second half, that performance ends up being in a L.
Right.
Because you took care of things in the second half. And I thought one of the bigger things was the turnovers. You said there have literally been games we watch a quarter worth of turnovers decide the game for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen how when they turn the ball over, unlike some teams, when they turn it over, it's hardly ever a turnover where they don't pay for it. It's almost like they pay double for their turnovers at times. And to only have 6 in that second half, there was definitely some winning plays being made in that second half. And we'll see what it looks like, because you gotta come back tomorrow and try to make it two wins in a row. Like you said, you got an opportunity to get your look back against San Antonio. Player of the game in this one for you.
Oh, man. I'm going to go with Keyshawn. Y'all fella got it done, man. All aspects, 27-7, the big charge call to get Jaren Jackson out of there. 10-16 from the field, 3-7 from deep. Perfect from the free throw line. Tonight was his night. He got it done in all aspects.
Yeah, no arguments there in the least. But again, you said 20. He had 24 to 28 in the second half, 13 of the 24 in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a performance by Keyshawn. Like you said, that's one way to, to end the slump for sure. X factor for you.
Probably gonna go with Marvin Bagley. I expect Sarr to have 18-11, man. he's that good. But Marvin Bagley's still coming off the bench. 16-6, 21 minutes, 3 assists as well. That was big time production. 8 of 13 with the way he's been playing. If he maintains that, what Wasar does, you got a hell of a center lineup. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's though when you down there getting a double off your bench from your big, your center, I'm pretty sure every team in the league will sign up for that. So, he's definitely the X factor because, they had a chance to win the non Alex Sarr minutes. You know what I'm saying? When Alex Sarr was off the floor and you still had to deal with Jaren Jackson, they could still stay steady in that regard of having someone that can match up with them production wise while they were on the floor. And that's the key to beating Memphis, man. And like I said before, they got the Spurs tomorrow. They got to do it again tomorrow against an even bigger monster. Who could kill you every way possible. So it's gonna be fun to see how they match up tomorrow. But yeah, definitely got the job done tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you on Marvin Bagley for everything that you listed. The only thing I would add is I wish it doesn't show in the box score, but for those non-star minutes against Jaren Jackson Jr., about how many of the 6 fouls did he help put on Jaren Jackson during that time? Mm-hmm. That's a part of that equation too, because you got the minutes Sarr has against him, and if you're still obviously he was aggressive and assertive offensively, there's no break for Jaren Jackson Jr. at all. Just don't have a break. It's not like he's come in and just screening, getting a rebound here or there. He's been dumb active offensively, and that did lead to a couple fouls. And obviously, you talk about Keyshawn drawing the charge, which got him fouled out of the game for sure. But Bagley playing a role in, I don't know exactly how many, but playing a role in putting a couple of those notches of fouls on Jaren Jackson goes a long way. But like you said, that's a hell of a. They might have something really nice in that pairing going forward at the 5 as the season continues.
Yeah, they made Jaren Jackson have to guard, and he's willing to guard defensive player, all defensive team caliber defender, but he didn't have any breaks tonight. Normally you'll get a break. The backup man, let me kill this dude. And he had to work. He had to work constantly, and he was up to the task, but the fouls piled up, and that was a big factor in him getting off the floor. Is the reason why the Wizards were able to pull away and get this win.
And like you said, we will be checking in with y'all tomorrow when Washington returns home. Those San Antonio Spurs for the second of their 2 matchups this week. So shout out to Washington getting back in the winning column, and we'll check in with you guys tomorrow.